Welcome to Transforming and Thriving
with best friends Brooke, Stacy, and Neelia.
Podcast dedicated to women sharing their inspirational stories.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Neelia.
And I'm Brooke. And today I'm personally thrilled to welcome Dr. Joy Bhat. I first met Dr. Joy years ago when we were part of a transformation group together. I believe it was in 2018, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. And I've followed her journey virtually ever since. Very impressed. And I would say that from the very beginning, actually, her energy, insight, and authenticity really stood out to me. And ever since then, she's just really inspired me through seeing all that she's creating, how dedicated she is to helping others. And I'm so excited to see what she does next. I want to share a little bit of her bio. Dr. Joy, she is a physician specializing in weight loss, longevity, and lifestyle medicine. She's passionate about helping people lose weight and feel strong from the inside out. After leaving corporate healthcare, she followed her heart to Los Angeles to create a life rooted in purpose, freedom, and impact. Dr. Joy is known for making health feel simple, empowering, and doable. She believes the best medicine is living in alignment and that the boldest move, even in uncertainty, often leads to the most meaningful growth. And I love that. And we just had to have her on. I'm so excited for her to share her story and wisdom with all of you.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here too. And I've been listening to your podcast. I love it. I love how inspiring it's been. And I really love listening to everybody's stories too.
Oh, we appreciate that. And we so appreciate you being here today, Dr. Joy. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Yeah. Having a good day so far.
And so when we communicated about you being a potential guest on the show, you mentioned kind of a transition with us that kind of really marked a before and after in your life. And I know Brooke touched on that a little bit, but I was
Yeah.
hoping you could share that experience with us and our guests and how that shaped your current path.
Sure, sure. Yeah. I think that transition for me was moving from San Francisco to LA to live by the beach, which was my dream, and also to leave corporate healthcare. And my that journey was that I had just finished residency. I moved back to the Bay Area in San Francisco. I was, really like wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready, like, all right, this is what I trained for. I'm gonna settle into this. I made it, back home. And then I just kind of really quickly realized, like, something felt off, and that something off was, like, I feel like I was treating symptoms, not really healing my patients, and so, like, my specialty is physical medicine rehab, so that's, like, back pain and joint pain, stroke, and surgery recovery, so along with that, I was seeing a lot of, like, chronic illnesses, like diabetes and obesity, Alzheimer's, and I just kept feeling like why aren't we actually helping these people? Like, like no one's asking how did they get here in the first place or what's the root cause? Like I felt like there's something missing there for me. And it's hard because in the healthcare system, we have like 15 minutes to see the patient. And like in that time, like there's no time to talk about nutrition or sleep or movement. I would just find myself saying, okay, at the end of the visit, not much time left anyway, you should lose some weight and just kind of move on to the next, hope the best for them, and that just didn't feel right to me because I knew there was more I could be doing. And one of the other things, one of my inspirations is my dad's a physician and he has a lot of specialties. One of them is weight loss. And more than that, he's always been kind of on this forefront of like preventative medicine. And like, when growing up, like just at the dinner table, we would talk about things like how stress and gut health and insulin and these kind of things. This is like our regular dinner topic conversations about how that actually affects people. So like I was taught like at a younger age to think differently about it, to not just, what to do for people, but like why? Why are we doing that? What's the real understanding behind it? So then that as an inspiration, I got board certified in obesity medicine, which is weight loss. And those were the first steps. So my gut was talking to me. I was kind of inching towards it, But then the pandemic hit, and that was like the catalyst to like make things actually happen. Like, in 2020, it's like everything's kind of taken away. There's no distractions, and you're kind of left with yourself. What are my priorities? What do I even care about? Why am I not doing the thing that I've been wanting to do? What's stopping me? So like, I got brave and I said, okay, I always wanted to live by the beach. Like the beach makes me so happy. It always draws me there. I'm like, what's holding me back? Let me just do it. So I moved to LA. I moved right by the beach. And then I quit corporate healthcare. And then I started doing online weight loss consultations. And for the first time, I felt like I'm really actually helping people. And more importantly, I feel like I'm understanding people. I'm talking to them. I'm getting the time to talk to them through their understanding their like daily struggles. We have life going on. We have jobs and work and all the stresses that go on in our lives, and I just felt really compassionate to that because I feel like everybody can relate to that feeling of maybe feeling like not heard or not really understanding what's going on in your body, or like, hey, the thing you got to do, but you're not doing it. Why? This is like the conversations that I was having with people, and it was so meaningful to me because I felt like I was really there with them, like really actually doing what I was kind of set out to do to help people in that way. And that was going well until I felt again like something just wasn't right. And the thing was that I was working for this business that had its own structure, so I couldn't really do everything that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to make things more personalized. I wanted to use more like cutting edge science and labs and things that were not quite mainstream things to do. And I took another chance on myself. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna make another bold move here." I quit that weight loss clinic and I decided to build my own practice, which was scary and I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I took the leap. I started working on offering one-on-one consultations with people and kind of putting together that business, and I got to do it my own way now, and I'm here. I made it here. I'm so happy I took all those chances on myself. So,
Wow. What a journey and some major pivots that you took. And I love that you are using the phrase, I took a chance on myself because
yeah.
I wrote a little note to myself. I'm like, courage,
Yeah.
making a leap like that multiple times.
Yeah.
It doesn't just take vision, right? You're like, "Oh, I have these great ideas that I wanna do," but it really does take so much courage to do that, and I would love to unpack a little bit more of your mindset
Yeah.
and just, like, the moments or feelings
Yeah.
you knew that you needed to make these changes, and I'm curious, is there a different feeling that you felt at those different pivots that you
Yeah.
made, the transitions? Like, what did that feel like for you to be in that
Yeah.
space?
I think, like, one thing is that it wasn't like I just did one big leap and I got here. I just felt a feeling in my gut that, something isn't quite right here. And I made a small step first. And that was, okay, let me get board certified in this. And then, okay, let me try and move down here, which was a big step, but each step was one at a time. It just started with me listening to my gut. If you told me like from the very beginning of when I first started working and, hey, you're going to start your own business, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's crazy. That's way too much to do right now. I can't do it. But it was stepwise. It was stepwise, and, like, when the timing was right for the next step, it happened and things worked out because I was just leading with, "This feels right to do. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna figure it out." And the other thing too is I like that, we had met doing that Love Life transformation, so it was actually one of the coolest things I did because it was about figuring out what are your values and your self-worth and working through what does your gut say and that kind of stuff, and that actually was really meaningful for me, and I ended up doing something similar after that, and something that I learned from these kind of experiences is there's this phrase, "F up, you can't go wrong," okay? Like, do it. Just do it. You can't go wrong. We have this fear of like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna do something bad," that, or we're trying to, like, be too perfect. We're waiting, we're hesitating, but honestly, there is no wrong move. You can't F up, you know? It's just that you make a choice, you go with it from your heart, your gut feeling, and either it leads you somewhere amazing or you're learning from it or you're growing from it, and but there's no wrong to it, you know? It's like I remember thinking too, like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Like, I think the move was the thing. Like, what if when I move down here, what am I really scared? What's the worst gonna happen? And like, honestly, nothing. It's like I won't like it and I move back, that's it? That's what's holding me back from, like, following my absolute dream and, like, the feeling that feels so good, and that's kind of, like, the worst that could happen. It's kinda like asking myself that, "Help. What do I think is gonna happen?" You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely, and, mistakes are really how we learn. We can
Yeah.
make adjustments from there or celebrate if it was successful, and like you said, that mindset shift, well, what if it works out?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
going with that instead of the, "Oh, what if," the negative.
Yeah, like, is it just the fear of messing up that's holding me back from doing it? But that that mindset of, like, "Hey, there is no ever messing up." You know, it's like you're gonna learn from it or things are just figure outable. Like, okay, it kind of maybe led you in a different direction and then you figure it out. Or, you know, and I think that mindset kind of has really helped me, and I think about it all the time still after that because anytime I've sort of followed my heart and followed, like, what felt right in that moment, I've never regretted it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you do a lot of that reflection,
Uh-huh.
and that just speaks to your level of self-awareness too, which, is something that you have to work on, right?
Yeah,
Like, the level of self-awareness, but I also just wanted to circle back to, you mentioned about your, values. Some of this is ingrained in you just from your dad in
yeah.
talking, around the dinner table and getting to the root of things. That was instilled with you early on, and then you just kept going back to that, your values,
Mhm.
your that drove you.
Like,
Yeah.
I saw that it's okay to not just go by say, I learned all this stuff in med school, and if I only went by that, I would never have any other open mind to it. But, like, keep an open mind and you can ask more questions like, "Why? Why are we doing it this way?" You know, "Why are they teaching it that way?" And what is, like, kind of the real science behind it? And once you do that, you're kinda like, "Well, there's other things we can do to help. That isn't the only cookie cutter way. Like, every person's different, every body's different." Just keeping more of that open mind than yeah, you're right. I think I thank you to my dad for that because I got to learn that value, like, growing up.
Well, I know for me personally, I really appreciated what you said about how when you were in the corporate medical, like you had to spend 15 minutes with a patient. And I know I'm not alone in feeling that when I'm, at a doctor's office, that I'm kind of like rushed through and like, what's
Yeah.
going on? How can I help you? Okay, let's cauterize it, and then I'm gonna write your prescription, and you can come back in 4 weeks if something happens.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, this is a and we're sort of stuck with it too because that's just the way the system is, so it's even if someone wants I wanna talk about all this stuff in this visit, I kinda can't. I just that's all I got with the time right now, I gotta move on, but even the message to, like, doctors out there, you could do it different too, you know? You could step out of that norm and make it your way like how I'm doing. I know it's not an easy road to do. It's easier to stick to doing it that way, but I feel like we're not doing it justice. We're not doing our patients justice by doing that. There's so much more we can do to help, and I think, we have to step out to do that.
Well, we appreciate it and we commend you for it. Not only your courage to go out on this path and, and your growth and your amazing drive and, your like courage. She, like Brooke said, it's like courage is just like blazoned across the screen. But I think it's amazing that you not only have that courage and you have taken that into a personal resignation into like your practice and you want to do not only what's best for you, but you also want to do what's best for, your patients or your clients because like you said before that when there's an obesity situation, I was watching a documentary recently. It's
Uh-huh.
like there's more behind typically the scenes than giving you a pill. Um,
Yeah.
and and I just want to say thank you because I appreciate it, and
Oh,
I know that a lot of I'm sure everyone else could say the same thing if they could speak to you today. Like, thank you for taking that in,
oh,
and changing or trying to be that champion of change because that's amazing. And so, like you were kind of talking about, like there is an ability to do that. So, say for instance, someone listening today
yeah,
was facing a similar crossroad or kind of feeling stuck or in a comfortable but maybe an unfilling situation.
yeah,
What maybe advice would you offer? Was there any real, like you said, follow your gut, but was there
yeah.
any specific tools that you might be able to share for someone that kind of wants to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah, I would say that when you're saying, "Oh, courageous," I was definitely scared too. Like in the end, I made the decision of being courageous, but in those moments, all that self-doubt kicks in and all these things you're thinking about of what's the worst that can happen. I thought of some crazy worst that could happen, things, but that's not really reality. And I think like talking it out and like even I had done that transformation program with Brooke and like done other programs like that, even therapy or journaling or something to like really think about what is it that's holding you back. And if it's that it's just fear and like you're wondering what's this worst that can happen, like working through that, I think is what's most helpful.
And I know you mentioned earlier taking the first step.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, big transition like that has so many moving parts to get to the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So feel overwhelming. So I think like earlier you mentioned starting with the first step can help it feel digestible.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Like it doesn't have to be like I started my whole business on day 1. I didn't even have that thought in my mind. I just went with the first step of as much as, like, I just wanna live by the beach, Like, okay, let's start there. Okay, well, I wanna live by the beach and I wanna have purpose. Okay, what's my purpose and what feels good for me? I wanna be able to help people in this way. Okay, I let me start with getting my training, to do that step first and then see where that goes. And then the next step was I started working at the weight loss clinic. And so each step was just me checking in like, okay, how am I feeling here? In this moment? Like, is this feeling like aligned with where I'm at? Like, is my nervous system feeling like calm from what I'm doing, or am I feeling like something's off?
you mentioned your nervous system. What are some things I'm curious that help you to kind of regulate your nervous system?
Yeah, I'm a nature person. I love to an activity. I like to just be outside. I like to move my body, and even just taking a bike ride and listening to music that just gets me able to kind of process thoughts that's going on and even just kind of just looking out into nature a little bit and checking in with yourself. How am I doing today? Like what's
Mm,
going on? Like that.
that's great.
Yeah.
Great. That is important to have that regulation so that you can make decisions and feel good and more clear and grounded.
Yeah, it's hard because it's hard to kind of differentiate, is it anxiousness or excitement? Because they're kind of
Mm,
the same, right? Like it's the same
yeah.
feeling in your body, anxious or excited. So I'm trying to think how sometimes you differentiate it or not because they're sort of the same. I was anxious about this move, but I was also excited about the move and it felt the same in my body. But that's just kind of talking that out and working that out with putting it to words or putting it on paper and like that kind of stuff helped figure out what is the feeling.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're in the process of building your own business. And can you share a little bit more about your vision and how you aim to help people achieve like weight loss and longevity goals?
Yeah, I'm having one-on-one consultations and I'm going to be able to really personalized approach talk to people and help them with nutrition and exercise and lifestyle changes and we all have so much going on. I know everyone has different like abilities and lifestyles, and I want to work with that. I don't want to give anybody cookie cutter like everyone do this one thing. I want to like, okay, what's working for you because in your lifestyle, because that's what's going to make it sustainable. Not just, hey, do this one thing that everyone's doing. No, how about when do you get up in the morning and like what's your life with in terms of what you can do or not do in your day? And that's I think is what will help make more long-lasting change, and I want people to really understand why and what's going on in their body because when you know what's going on, it helps you, one, have some motivation to do things, but also tweak it to your lifestyle. Okay, I'm doing this because of this metabolism in my body, so I can adjust it for different things that happen in my life. So I'm gonna have one-on-one consultations. I'm gonna have some like educational material that people can be looking at and yeah, starting there.
I think that makes so much sense. And because sometimes it might be obvious to some, but it's not obvious to everybody. Like you said, to talk about the educational materials that you're willing to share, such as exercise and nutrition. It's like you sometimes you hear someone say, like, well, where can I get fiber? And you're like, what?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just, I think it's nice that you have that one on one coaching. So it's
Yeah.
personalized and they probably feel heard because everyone is on their own journey.
Yeah.
You never know what anyone's going through, so it's great that you can have that time
Right.
together, and I'd love to, because I'm sure people are gonna ask after they hear this episode, but for listeners who are interested in, like, connecting with you and maybe learning more about your journeys and upcoming offerings, where can they find you, like, online or on your Instagram? If you could share that with us.
Yeah, check out my Instagram. It's dr.joy.md, Dr. Joy MD, and I share lots of like quick tips and things. And then you can also message me on there and kind of be part of the community. And I'd love to hear from everyone.
So great. It's been so wonderful to be observing your Instagram. You have such amazing content on there. I love participating in all the things that you post. There's different questions that you'll post and polls, and it's really engaging. So you're doing some really good work that's really fun. And I know you mentioned that it's really important to you that it's something that's simple, like building these simple habits or
Yeah.
things that seem attainable.
Yeah.
And I just want to share that by looking at what you're posting, that is absolutely what you're
Oh,
delivering.
good, good. I'm so glad.
I really appreciate you being here and sharing your journey. It's really inspiring and I think will be really relatable and helpful for others.
Appreciate you guys so much. This is great.
Well, we appreciate you, and it was a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you so much again.
Okay, thank you so much. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
To all of our listeners, thank you for joining us on this episode of Transforming and Thriving. We'll be back every other Monday with more inspiring stories. Please follow us on your favorite podcast app and follow us on Instagram so you can be a part of this community and stay up to date with each episode. Feel free to leave a review so that we can get your valuable feedback and other people can find these powerful stories. We're all in this crazy life together, so let's move through it together. See you there.